John Williams, eat your heart out. You got nothing on Shady Entertaining.
And then there's another thing I want to talk about. This came from a whole nother channel that I was watching, and not just apologists, they were calling Rian Johnson a frickin' genius. Genius. The man who wants pity.
Oh, goody, I get pity.
Yes, have the pity. Yes, suckle upon the teat. Suckle upon the teat, Ryan. He's a genius because of how he depicted Holdo. You know, if Kathleen Kennedy is the queen, then Holdo would be the princess. Oh, hello, I'm Holdo, the princess of Disney. The purple hair princess. Cotton candy hair. Like, and I don't want to pick in her hair because like I said, I'm a fan of anime, so purple hair is all good by me. You know, my first crush, in fact, was Cyndi Lauper, who had constantly changing her hair color, and so I had no issue with purple hair, but I have a huge issue with HolD'OH, because HolD'OH is horrible. And let me tell you why. You see, Rian Johnson, and this is where the snotty accent returns. Now, these people seem to intimate that HolD'OH is a work of craftsmanship and genius, because the sole purpose of her design as a character was to subvert your expectations. And that is what makes her such a geniusly crafted character. You'll see, we'll start with what she was wearing. And according to these people, and I shall not give them any press, because I don't like them, that you see, everything from her dress, the way she carried herself, the way she spoke, everything was designed to subvert your expectations. Because we as men, oppressive, masculine men filled with testosterone and toxic masculinity, right? We were supposed to look at her and say, we won't listen to her. Look at how feminine she is. She's like a flower, dressed in an evening gown. She's a general, but we're not looking at her like a general. We were crafted very thoroughly to look at her as if she was a Disney princess, right? That is why they crafted her thusly. They wanted us to look at her like a Disney princess. Hello, I'm your Disney princess. I'm HolD'OH. I'm not gonna stop with the HolD'OH. I'm Holdo, your Disney princess. And I don't have to tell you a damn thing about my plan. Right? And you see, this was all done purposefully. Why was it done? This was all done so that we look at her as a female in every sort of way. They didn't want us to masculinize her at all. If they wanted her to be semi-masculine, they would have then dressed her in a more militant outfit, as would be appropriate for her position. But of course they did not, as like I said, they wanted her to be designed as a flower, a floating violet. That's what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to look at her like that. But, my friends, this was a trap. Because we were supposed to look at Poe Dameron, the hero, the epitome of toxic masculinity. We were supposed to look at him and say, he's right, why don't you listen to him? Oh, he needs to know the plan, tell him the plan. But what does she say? She says, oh, my dear Poe, I am the princess, and you should take it on faith that I, the princess of Lucasfilm, has a plan. It is in my brain. I don't have to tell you the plan, because you should just take it on faith that I know what I'm doing. Don't look at my feminine appearance and judge me. No, if you do, you judge me at your own peril, because I am woman, hear me roar. And his toxic masculinity wouldn't allow it. And Poe did what every man would do. Right away, he'd just decide to, like, you know, not listen to her because she's a woman, and just because she's a woman, not because people are dying and they need some hope. What Poe then did was, you know, what she had expected of him, right? Because he's a male chauvinist, toxic masculinity, raw, fly boy. He made a secret plan with Finn, and they went over her head and didn't trust her and did something on the side that was just idiotic and stupid, and in the end failed and cost them. Now then, once Poe did his little mutiny thing, right, and Finn's whole side plot failed, again with the failure, she finally reveals her plan. Leia wakes up and says, "You should have trusted her. She knew what she was doing all along." And then Poe was like, "Oh, really? Oh my God, I should have listened to her. I was just so blinded by her feminine wiles that I could not see that she was the chosen one. That she knew it all, that she had a plan deep, and I should have trusted her all along. And what a brilliant plan it was. And wait for our entire fleet to die except for one ship, and then escape from the ship onto a planet." But mind you, the only reason that her plan wasn't going to be a success was because Finn and Poe almost screwed it up because they went on that little side mission and gave away a plan that they never knew in the first place. So, someone talk about a plot hole. Now at the end we're going, "Oh, Poe Dameron was like, oh my God, Holdo, I'm sorry. You caught me. You subverted my expectations, Holdo. I didn't trust you because I thought you looked too feminine, and therefore I took for granted that you're a woman and I'm a man, and that I looked at you and I should have not judged you by your looks, but I should have judged you by your merits." And that, my friends, jeez, it brings a tear to my eye because this has never been done before in Hollywood. Not just has it been done every time there's a underdog story. In fact, one of my favorite female characters, Ripley, that's the exact same thing that happened to her in Aliens, remember? Except for this was actually well crafted, right? See, the reason why this doesn't work, I mean, if you want to trap someone in that kind of a thing, don't make it so idiotic. You know, the trap was so blatant. First of all, in order for something to be well crafted, this kind of a genius subversion, you kind of have to lead people in a way that makes some sense, right? You know, nothing about what Holdo did makes sense in a real scenario. Therefore, the premise of this doesn't work. You know, none of these characters act in any form, in any manner, a way that a human being would act in those circumstances. Therefore, the whole premise is faulty and flawed. Like, for instance, everyone says that Poe was a flyboy to start with because he successfully destroyed a ship. Oh, but he sacrificed a few bombers, guys, and Leia hates sacrificing people in war. Right? I'm gonna get to that flaw in a minute. So Poe sacrificed a couple of bombers to successfully destroy the Dreadnought, which, if you actually go to the future, might have actually decimated the entire fleet. And all those planned at the end might have been moot. If they had the Dreadnought, like, there would have been not even 30 left of them. Rey would have flown back to space debris because if the Dreadnought was there, I hardly doubt they would have made it to their little resistance hideaway on a salt planet not named Hoth. So now the flaw comes when he comes back to the ship like a hero, thinking he did something good. How could you, Poe? How could you? Right? This is the whole reasoning for his demotion. This whole scene here where Poe is heralded as a failure because he succeeded? No, because people died in a war. That's why he's a failure, right? Because no one's supposed to ever die in a war, guys. Meanwhile, the entire fleet gets decimated on the way to Holdo's plan. And here's the funny part. After Leia's Superman out the window, which we're not going to discuss in this one, and she's in a coma, and she wakes up. Remember when she went to sleep, she had a fleet. She lost a few bombers, and she was sad. She was saddened by it. So sad and irate that she lost some bombers that she slapped Poe. But when she woke up, and HolD'OH was leading, her fleet was decimated. She had one ship left. She woke up, and she wasn't irate by any of this. I mean, she was so mad of a couple of bombers being killed that she smacked Poe, but she didn't care that an entire fleet was decimated at the helm. Like, why wasn't she demoted right away? I mean, where's the logic in that? It's such a flawed logic that it doesn't make any sense at all. The way it should have gone was she would have woken up, according to the character that they had written, right? Because I don't think Leia would have acted this way anyway. But according to what Rian Johnson wrote, Leia wakes up and she was all fine and dandy, just fine and dandy with the loss of her entire fleet, and was trying to reassure that Holdo knew her plan was sound. It was a sound plan. Wait till everybody dies and then abandon ship to a salt planet. Because, you know, heaven forbid you get there and nothing works and they die of what? salt poisoning. They just, I mean, how do you breathe on a salt planet, first of all? This is a talk science, guys. I'm sure a lot of trees and oxygen grow on a salt planet. Science be damned! Let's abandon ship to a salt planet, guys. See, if this was Star Trek, Picard would go, Number 1, is there an inhabitable planet we can abandon ship to? Well, there is a salt planet. Salt? That's not a livable planet. So now, if she smacked Poe for losing 3 ships, she should have given Holdo an uppercut. Because she lost the entire rest of the fleet on her ridiculous plan without a backup plan. Remember, Poe had her backup plan with Finn, but she didn't want to go through that. Leadership be damned. I have my one singular plan. You should just believe that this plan that I have, that you don't know anything about, is definitely so sound that nothing could go wrong, that I would ever think of conceiving of a backup plan just in case. You know? Because she is a Disney princess and she knows all. Yes, where's with my little birdies? Right? So by all rights, when Leia woke up, and she saw that she looked out the window and seen flying debris of what used to be her fleet, and knowing how much, according to Rian Johnson's writing, how much she hates losing people in a war, by all rights, what she did to to Poe, a little smack for a couple of ships, she should have uppercut the princess of Disney. Oh, why did you hit me now? In fact, she should have force choked her, because Leia now has the Force. So she should have just went and made that, stretched out that neck even more. Because Leia apparently doesn't like losing people, but unless it's a woman dressed in a flower outfit, it's okay. I'm sorry, this movie is not good. It just isn't. You can like it. Hey, you could like a bad movie, but admit that it's a bad movie you like. Because I don't care. I like bad movies. Like I said, I liked the Justice League. It's a bad movie, but I liked it. It's okay to like a bad movie, you know? But don't go defend it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and defend Justice League calling it a genius masterpiece. It hit me in a way that maybe didn't hit you. It's a stupid, silly Sunday comedy. You know, and if that's not what you're looking for in a superhero film, I can get that. I can understand that. It hit me in a way that maybe didn't affect you. Was it a genius movie? No. Am I going to sit there and defend it as a work of art, craftsmanship? No. It's not. If you don't like this movie, I can understand you not liking the Justice League. But I can still like something that is not well crafted and is poor because of some feeling that I have. And that's all it is. I'm just basing my liking on a feeling. More than a feeling. I think now that one's gotta be Chicago, right? I don't know, it's playing Name That Tune today, guys. What's that journey? It all sounds like to me, guys. I'm all over the place with my music. Someone's got to give me a music lesson, because, Anyway, guys, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a little longer than I usually do, that I've been doing lately. But, I think this is something I had to say, because, you know, when these things enter your brain, they just fester in there, and you gotta get it out. Get the eye of the tiger going. Rising up. I know that one. Survivor. Rising up, back on the street. Did my time, took my chances. I bet you when you clicked Shaney Entertaining, you didn't think you were coming to a musical, did ya? I subverted your expectations. So this is my final message to Rian Johnson then. Take your own advice, Rian Johnson. You failed. You failed in this movie, and that's okay. You know, admit you failed, because, as you put it, failure leads to growth. And you failed. You failed. And now, admit that you failed. Admit this movie's crap, so this way the growth can happen. Because the way it looks like right now, you're headed for an island, Ryan. You're headed for an island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, by yourself, maybe with Kathleen Kennedy, and you're gonna turn into Schmeagol. Every day, I'm seeing you, more and more you're becoming SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob Johnson Pants. Yeah, so admit that you're wrong. Anyway, guys, yeah, so let me know what you thought, let me know what you think. And one more thing, guys, yeah, so I will be doing my reboot soon. This is last call for anybody who wants to participate in this by giving me your ideas of what you think, what you would like to see in The Last Jedi. I think next week I'm going to be doing it. So if you have any ideas of what you want to see, any impression you want to see me do, like I said before, again, it's just for fun. It's my fun little thing we're doing. So if you guys want to contribute, this is your last call to do so. All right, and that's it. See you later.